This is the Aaron Abs Hard Truth Podcast. I had started my podcast, about a year and a half ago. I only did 4 episodes leading up to going into 2021. Got too busy with everything that I had going on, and so I'm trying to get back and make this a weekly occurrence and build on it. And I just to be used as a informative, uplifting platform to get information across. I got some stuff, got kind of a little process here I'm learning on and testing, so just bear with me as far as any difficulties or anything like that. But my first, this would be episode number 4. Yes, number 4. I've been trying to think of a lot of things to go about as far as going forward with this first episode. And yesterday there's a topic that came about that I just felt obligated I need to share some information on in Wyoming. Yesterday, Governor Mark Gordon had his spoke that he was going to be he announced his bid for reelection for 2022 for a second term for governor of Wyoming. Some people know that I was actually running for governor up until I finally decided to stop. It's about a month ago, but after the first year up until then, I just been on the wall. I just had some other opportunities come up that would put me in a better position to help people, especially in Wyoming. And I came in because of actions of God. I came across Brent Bean, who he's a retired Marine, and I've doing whatever I can to help him succeed in winning, because he will be Wyoming's next governor. Somebody that I fully support, and that in itself, with the process I use to evaluate anybody, just on character value, even if they have values, things of that nature, and what they can actually do. Coming from me, that's a lot. That says a lot, because I'm an extremely critical thinker. Anyways, I want to go on to Mark Gordon's speak. I was going through taking some notes on things that I know that essentially lies. He's just pandering out to get votes, and that's something that he's become very well at doing over the past, ever since COVID hit, because he up until COVID hit, he was kind of one of those governors that he was just there. He was taking up a seat, wasn't doing much, and then he completely flipped on the state of Wyoming, and we'll get into that later. That was something he was proud of doing. But anyways, he said Wyoming elected conservative. He's for the first time in Wyoming history, Wyoming has back-to-back conservative governors. First time in Wyoming's history, which is kind of a half truth, because for the people that don't know, he switched from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party prior to his 2018 election. He's a rhino. Wyoming has a rhino governor. Rhinos, people have their um, names for them. David Iverson, Cowboy State Politics. He's redcoats is his word. My word is cowards, because that's blatantly, that's the non PC, politically correct word for rhinos. They don't have, because they don't have the integrity to run in their own party. I have more respect for a Democrat than I do a rhino, because the Democrat actually has integrity to do what they believe in their own party. They don't have to switch parties to try and get votes. And that's exactly what Mark Gordon was. And he, in the 2018 Wyoming governor's election, was a shit show. That's what it was. Wish Foster Freeze would have won. That would have been great. Wyoming would have been a hell of a lot better place than where it is now. But you got the bad ways of doing things the same way, year after year. And that's how Gordon ended up where he's at. As far as, he said he's a conservative. He's not a conservative. Just because you're in the Republican Party does not mean you are a conservative. People from around the country think of Wyoming as this so conservative state. Wyoming is far from conservative. Just my observation, there's 1/3 Democrats, 1/3 rhinos, 1/3 conservatives. And that goes for not only the state legislature and politicians throughout the state, but as well as the populations. It, to me, it kind of seems is what the take is. So, very dark purple state, because a lot of Wyoming gets taken advantage of from outside of Wyoming, from DC, and just from the Democrat Party. Particularly, they send people in to try to run for different positions and whatnot. From local levels all to high levels. But Wyoming is, in my opinion, one of the most politically messed up states in the country. But with that, there is a core group of conservatives in Wyoming working with cohesion, with the best cohesion I've seen in a lot of political groups throughout the country, and that I've experienced as well. And Wyoming is well on its way to being not a purple state, a red state. These conservatives, and that's what I consider myself. I've been Republican my entire life, but just through the years of learning more and everything, I've seen that difference of what a Republican is and a conservative is. And the conservative movement is very strong and being very successful in Wyoming. We just need a conservative governor, and that'll start to pan out with a lot of things. There are several conservative state legislatures that are absolutely amazing. They are some of the best politicians that I have ever come across in my entire life. They truly love and work for the people of Wyoming. They have no agendas to push, anything like that. And I've seen it in person, how well some of these senators care about the people of Wyoming. Doesn't matter if it's somebody outside their district or somebody that they don't even know. They're there for the people, as should be any politicians. The next thing on here, Governor Gordon went on to say how happy he was to be announcing that home there in Buffalo, Wyoming. So back in July last year, when I finally mentioned to a certain someone that I was wanting to run for governor, word got to be that I should do an announcement in Buffalo, Wyoming, to kind of play on Governor Gordon's home. You know, Governor Gordon, in his reelection speech, he was saying, you know, how much is home, this and that, and I completely understand that, being involved with your community, this and that, and everything. You know, he said he had done there, but I mean, people, I mean, do they really? There's all these other people that don't support you. You know, I mean, I hate to get on him too much. I don't know him personally. I mean, I've been studying the heck of him for the last year and a half or 2 years. Yeah, probably 2 years now. And sure, he's a nice guy and everything, but being in the position he's in, absolutely no. There's, he's not a leader, and he's in a leadership position, and it's played out. And that, I mean, that goes for a lot of politicians as well, bureaucrats. And you're either a leader or you're not. You either want to. I always say, you can never be the best leader. The best leader is somebody that wants to do better and be better. They want to learn to be a better leader. They're, you know, they're never done wanting to do better in their position. They want to do the best they can by the people that they are leading. They want to listen to the people that they are leading. Another point here, energy independence. He was talking about 3 years ago, the United States was energy independence, which is correct. President Donald Trump was in the White House, and he was talking down about the Biden regime. Well, he's in with the Biden regime, and he's pencil necking his way around, sneaking in green energy. He has allowed fossil fuel industries to be shut down, and this is more of his pandering that he does when he speaks out, when he actually does go out and talk to people or on social media or whatever. But behind the scenes, he's working against everybody. He says Wyoming's the leading state in nuclear. The nuclear plant is probably one of the worst things that could ever happen to Wyoming. I have been against it since the day they came out about it. I'm not against nuclear energy. I'm against Bill Gates. Through the years, I've just dug in to him. I've learned as much as I can, see what he's doing, you know, in different states. This nuclear plant, China didn't want it. And there's always something, a bad reasoning as to why Bill Gates wants to do something. I say he thinks it's good, but he wants more power. He thinks he's trying to play God with everything he has his fingers in. He's trying to play God, and that is absolutely no good. Anybody that tries to play God is no good. And luckily, the U.S. put the sanctions on Russian uranium when we got Wyoming uranium. But I've got 3 different theories built up as to why they are wanting to put the plant in Cameroon, and some things go along with that. I'm doing more research on, and to possibly make a case against it. He had mentioned him going down to Texas with all these other governors. He's all in line with what Greg Abbott does with as far as illegal immigration. For people that don't know much about Greg Abbott, he's like the Mark Gordon of Texas. I don't know why President Trump endorsed him. He does have a history of endorsing incumbents. And Greg Abbott has that somewhat household name. But Greg Abbott is not a Republican. He's not a conservative. He is anything he's done with illegal immigration is only because it's an election year. That is the only thing why he's done what he's done. I follow Texas very well. I love Texas. I know a lot of people down there, right? I know a lot of people that have to deal with the BS down at the border. I am constantly getting informed and looking for more information on the border. Texas ain't doing anything. Arizona, they're doing a hell of a lot more than what Texas is. But still, Border Patrol, the Biden regime has wreaked havoc on Border Patrol. Border Patrol is being overworked in areas that they don't even need to be. I know I've got a couple friends in the state's National Guard that are down in the border state for a year deployment. Their unit's down there for a year because their state stepped up and sent a National Guard unit down there just to help with border protection, because CBP officers, agents, are being pulled off the line to go work in these processing centers and all these bogus camps that are being set up, and then transport people to communities throughout the country. Another thing he brought up, wildlife management. He said he's had a hard time with the Biden regime's wildlife. He hasn't had that a lot of trying to think, put into better words here. A lot of pushback from wildlife management with the Biden regime. But yet, he said Wyoming has better information than U.S. Fish and Wildlife on certain migratory animals, this and that, in which they do. I fully believe that, and I mean, just from what I have seen through the years, they have done a damn good job in what they're doing. But yet, Gordon is all for bringing these wind turbines in. Wyoming Game Parks have done an excellent job in showing what wind turbines have done to migratory animals. But yet, keep putting them up. They keep putting those wind turbines up, despite the information the Wyoming Game and Fish have on these animals' migratory routes. And then was it yesterday I seen there's been a lawsuit filed for the killing, that the wind turbines killing golden eagles. Mark Gordon says standing up for Wyoming's rights. He's got to stand up for Wyoming's rights. I say bullshit, Gordon. Perfect example, which got everybody all riled up and showed your true colors as a person, was how you handled COVID-19. In his speech, he said other state leaders asked what Wyoming was doing because Wyoming was a model state in what they were doing. BS. Either those states that were coming and asking for it are crazier than you are, or you're just lying. Wyoming was bad compared to other states. I know. I was doing a lot of traveling at that time. Like Nebraska and Wyoming, for example, complete night and day difference. Wyoming was stricter than Nebraska. You didn't stand up for Wyoming's rights. You shut everything down. It's absolutely pathetic. That's what got me really looking into him because of how he handled COVID. His true colors were showing. His true extreme lack of values. And I say extreme lack because I take values very seriously. Standing up for Wyoming's rights during COVID, he said, which, we all seen how that was. And I just explained the the SAPA bill that was just passed. He was saying, Wyoming's the home for gun rights and this and that. That SAPA bill, the legislation passed, was bogus. It's a watered down version from the original one. And why go? Cowboy State politics, the Ramble Room. The information's out there to show the major differences. They have put out the major differences between the two bills. And it's absolutely pathetic. And people supported that and celebrated it. These are the same people that want to take your guns away. But one thing I do have to agree with him on is Wyoming is the best state. There's no doubt about that. That's just not an opinion. That's a fact. That's something I feel in me. That's something I felt my entire life. Just no matter what border it is, I cross into Wyoming. I've always have a home feeling. Right. Yeah, home feeling because it feels good when I come into Wyoming, and that home feeling leaves when I go out. And that's why, a year and a half ago, I believe it was, I came up with the term the heart of God's country. Because, I've done a lot of traveling around the country, the United States, throughout my life. And I've seen a lot of beautiful places, and everybody always says, this is God's country, whether it be the sand hills of Nebraska, the eastern slope of California, Utah, wherever it may be, which is all beautiful, but Wyoming specifically, no matter where you go, it's beautiful. There's so many different climates in Wyoming. So many different terrain types, environments in Wyoming that change just within even 10 minutes of driving. And it's absolutely, there's no boring place to look at in Wyoming. I don't care where you go. And I also what got me with the heart of God's country is if the United States was a person hugging the world, where would the heart be of the United States? It'd be where Wyoming is. And that is exactly where the term the heart of God's country came from, because the United States is God's country. But Wyoming is the heart. And you also look in our energy production. We are the lifeblood of this country. But the Biden regime is not allowing us to circulate that. He's not wanting us to work naturally. He wants us to work artificially with all this bogus green energy that's coming in just to make people rich, not being inefficient. But that leads me to end with, he's saying, God bless Wyoming, God bless America. Like I said, I haven't met him. I can learn a lot about a person off of very little information. I've looked into him a lot, and trying to understand him, but I'm just trying to be fair. Just because I have yet to actually speak in person, and that's where I can really get a good profile on a person. But that's one thing what has led me since after the first year to not run for governor, to take another path, is when I was running for governor, I was going to use my faith in my relationship with God to help my platform as governor. And a lot of it's just doing the right things. And my faith is very important to me, and it is completely obvious to see how this country has decayed over the years because of the extreme lack of faith. There's a spiritual war going on right now, and it's against faith, against religion, especially the Christian religion. And I've been doing a lot of work on that the last just over 4 years. So a couple weeks ago, I finally made the decision to go to seminary school, and I'm going to go to school, become a pastor here starting next fall, and looking very forward to doing that. And my plan is I'm not going to be go to a church, be a pastor. I'm going because February 5th of 2018, I had an experience that I may speak on here sometime and share. But it took me from believing to knowing. And I have gained so much knowledge, and with research and experience, as far as educating myself better, and go to seminary school to learn more and work on being able to help people better, get the word of God out better, because I'm very hard to speak, because the last few years I haven't really spoke so much, and my ADHD, it's sometimes hard for me to process things, to get out into words. But that's one reason with this podcast is to help me speak more and help me speak better. Um, but so I won't be coming out going say going to a church to preach per se, which I'll probably do here and there, which I'd like to, but I'm going to be working on basically calling out the people that use that the bad people in this country that hide behind faith. They use it to to portray themselves as a good person. Because in the last 4 years, I've seen people say oh, I'm going to heaven. I'm such a good person. This and that. I believe in God because I believe in God. Well, their actions show contradict what they're saying. We see this. Everybody, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, for example, say they're devout Catholics. Well, the way they act, they're absolutely not. That's one place. Catholicism is one place where politicians or bad politicians use as a tool to hide behind, to to portray that they are good when they're actually not, and we all know how that's played out. And that goes for everyday people. There's that's how I look at people nowadays. Um, they're good or they're bad, and if I meet somebody new, I can profile them very fast and um, get a good profile on them. It's been accurate, and but that's where I'm going to go with this is um, basically investigating people and calling them out for who they really are. Because this country is failing. And I'm so blessed to have built up the network of people and resources that I have had over the last 4 years. It's everything is truly a work by God. And I'm so thankful, even though it hasn't been the best 4 years of my life as far as stability and financial wise. I've never been happier. My heart is happy. There's some things that could change as well, but that could make it much better, but things don't happen overnight. So, this is going to be the end of episode number 4. Hope you guys, like I said, this will be a build up. Hopefully, week by week, we'll go on and do this and build up and be a wide array of topics, whatever it may be. More information about me, things I've come across that definitely works of God. That's that. God bless America. God bless.